Hey guys, my name is Shauna and I am going to be a first-time mom. And so I just wanted to document my own pregnancy journey so that I can look back on it and see how it went for me. I've been taking notes week by week on different experiences that I've gone through. And for this video, I just want to cover my first trimester and share with you how it went for me. I know that when I was going through it myself, it really helped me to watch videos on how it went for others and kind of gave me a good idea of what to expect and how to cope with different changes that are happening with my body. So that's what I will cover today. I am so excited to be a mom. I actually was never one of those girls who always dreamed of being a mom. I could never really even picture myself being a mom. And my pregnancy was a complete surprise. And I didn't find out until I was in week 6. So it was quite the shock for me when I found out. I just took a pregnancy test on a whim because I was late with my period, and honestly, like, if I had any inkling that I would be pregnant, I would have made a more special event of it, I guess. Instead, I ran out of the bathroom and just told my husband, who was laying in the bed. But I think if I knew that it was coming, I would have probably tried to at least keep it to myself for a day and surprise my husband in a cute way. But that is not what happened. I was in shock. But nonetheless, I'm so excited now. Of course, there's still feelings of being nervous and not knowing what to expect, but I've come to terms with a lot of it, surprisingly, and it's feeling a lot more real for me. As I said, week 6, I found out that I was pregnant. I was just really shocked. I was not expecting it. I always thought that it would take me a while to get pregnant. I did go off of my birth control in about December, and I was pregnant by April. So I was not expecting to get pregnant so fast, and so it was a complete shock. So shortly after I found out was when I started to feel fatigue and hunger. So I did start out with being very hungry, but very weak, very sleepy. It definitely felt like a truck had hit me every day I woke up. One of the biggest symptoms that I felt very early on, before I even knew I was pregnant, was bloating. So I had very severe bloating to the point where I got suckered into an Instagram ad to buy Hum Nutrition bloating pills, and I got it in the mail, but I never got to take it because before it even arrived, I found out I was pregnant. But bloating was a huge symptom for me early on. Week 7 was rough because I started the morning sickness. So I threw up for the first time, and just extreme nausea came over me, and there was little relief from it. I just felt nauseous all day, and the only thing that really helped was not having my stomach empty. So I was constantly grazing. I was constantly trying to find anything to put in my stomach. I was not craving anything. I had no appetite, but I just wanted something in my stomach because that was the only thing that really helped curb the nausea. And even then, it wasn't like a remedy, but I could tell that it helped. So I tried to keep my stomach not full, but satiated. That definitely contributed to a lot of my weight gain in the first trimester. I ended up gaining 10 pounds in my first trimester, and that was really hard for me. I started growing out of my clothes very early on. Like, none of my pants would fit me, and so I just stayed in my pajamas. Luckily, I worked from home. Week 7, I also quit coffee and caffeine. So it was easy enough for me to follow it, but it's not like there's any scientific proof behind that. I just found it easy enough to do. So I did it. I was like, caffeine can't really help my baby anyway, and I just feel better. Week 8 and 9, I was just coping with the nausea. It was constant, it was continuous. I was still grazing a lot of food. So the nausea turned into actually throwing up a lot more. I wouldn't say there were any foods that helped me. I think I would have loved to stay like on a fully Korean diet, but I just don't really cook Korean food that often. I discovered some remedies later on that tended to help me a little bit. So these are like Takis, except they don't have any red dye. So this has like a very, very tangy flavor with a slight spice. And I don't know, this was the only thing that was able to curb the nausea sometimes, so I always had a bag on hand. A friend had also recommended this. These are like dried plums, and I got this on Instacart. If you Google Lulu Orchard on Instacart, you may be able to find it. But I took this sometimes when I felt nauseous because she said it's a natural remedy for nausea. It helped more mentally than anything, just to do something about the nausea sometimes. There's a different color than this one. I think it was like brown or yellow. I'll have to look, but that one I liked better than the green one. It was the honey flavor. The last thing I'll recommend is the Term band. So this is like one of those C bands, but it's more heavy duty. So if you wear this, it sends like vibrations on your wrist right here. And I would say this is not a magical cure for nausea, but it does help keep the edge off. So I literally wore that 24/7. Like, I would wear it to bed, I would wear it to sleep. I lived on that band for a long time. I even like sometimes had like red marks here from wearing it too long, which I don't recommend, but it did help me. So I kept it on all the time. Between week 10 and 11, I had my first OB/GYN appointment. And to be quite honest, it was kind of disappointing because I found out at week 6 and I couldn't go until between almost week 11. So I had been waiting a long time, and it felt like the longest 5 weeks because I was so sick. And so we finally got to the appointment, and I don't know, it just felt so impersonal. Like, keep in mind, this is my very first doctor's appointment at my very first pregnancy. So I didn't know what to expect, but obviously I expected a little bit more than what it was. It was just so impersonal. I don't know. It just felt like we were another head in the crowd, and the appointment was so quick. But we did get our ultrasound done, so that was super exciting. The baby was like moving constantly, and so that was super cute. I couldn't believe you can already see like her little limbs. I hadn't known the gender at this point, but I did take the NIPT blood test at that appointment. Shortly after, in week 12, I found out that I was having a girl. I know that I could have come to terms with having a boy, but if I was going to be completely honest, I really wanted a girl. So that was a super exciting time to find out that we were having a girl. And my husband, he was totally okay with having a boy, but if you were to ask his preference, he did really want a girl. So we were both super happy. I never really thought about pregnancy much. I never researched anything. I just went into it kind of blindly and learned a lot during pregnancy. So while I was dealing with nausea, I laid around a lot. I lived on the couch in my bed, and I watched a lot of videos like this one. I just listening to everyone else's experience, looking up podcasts, reading books. I learned a lot that way. I would say my general advice for people going through first trimester is, if you are dealing with morning sickness, try different types of remedies, because it's also kind of mental too. So like one day you may want to try hard candies because you heard that sucking on hard candies might help. The next day you might want to try eating a dried plum. Just being able to do something about your nausea can help a little bit. But I would say that, like, if there's one thing that I couldn't go through first trimester without, I would say it was this Anyterm band. In terms of exercise, I didn't really know that you could do exercise as normal. So I already started modifying where I could, but to be honest, I really didn't exercise much at all. I was just too nauseous and too fatigued, and I could barely get myself out of bed, let alone do a workout. But against what I did, I have heard that keeping your body moving could help some people a lot. So I would say keep up with what you can. I did an online program called the Movement Club, I think. It's by Lindsay Arnold from Dancing with the Stars. She has prenatal program. So I kind of followed that program a little bit. Like I really couldn't exercise a lot, but when I could, I did that. The hardest part about the first trimester was the nausea, fatigue, bloating, and the weight gain for me. Mentally, it was a lot. Not being able to fit into my clothes like 2 to 3 weeks after finding out was really hard on me. But I tried my best to keep a positive mindset. I know that you are supposed to gain weight during pregnancy, so I tried to keep an open mind. That has been my experience so far in the first trimester. I hope this video helps you and maybe you can relate to some of the symptoms that I've felt. Look forward to my second trimester video. I will go over the many things that are different in the second trimester.